All right, so we got the Jambo first. This is the Team Corley Jambo. It's basically a 2021 model with a bunch of 2022 upgrades. So it's on 4S. I don't really think they need anything more. So first things first, we're just gonna practice driving up to the ramp. Now, if you saw the front end come up right there, I did have to adjust. So you just tap the brake, just like that. That'll get the front end to settle. So we're just gonna get used to driving up to the ramp. That's the most important thing. Had to tap the brake again. It's really important to learn what the car does. Each scenario is different. So I never go out and just hit a ramp super hard. And because of that, my rigs don't break as much. I have more fun because things don't break right off the bat. I mean, some bash spots, you know, you drive kind of far. Right at the end, you can kind of hear it too. On 4S, you can do backflips, you can do double backflips, you can do a ton on 4S. Top speed on 4S is like 51 or 52 miles an hour, which is crazy. Top speed with 6S on the Outcast is like 50 miles an hour. So with 4S, with the Jambo, So see right there, I was trying to correct it and hit the ramp, but it was understeering to its left, our right. What was happening was this is a short wheelbase truck. So I was giving it some throttle, and because it's such a short wheelbase, it wheelies really easy. When the front tires start levitating and floating, it might look like they're actually touching the ground, but they're really just hovering over the grass. So you can have the tires pointed whatever way you want, but they're not going to get enough traction to actually go. So another like quick basher tip for you guys is when you are trying to do like turns and everything, like I'll show that right here. So I'm gonna be on the throttle and I'm gonna try to turn the car around. Kind of a wider turn, so I'm gonna turn the car around again, but I'm gonna hit the brakes. I hit the brakes so the front end sinks down more, and then there's more traction on the front wheels, if that makes sense. Just a quick summary. You need to just practice going off the ramp. You need to practice just coming up and hitting it, watching what it does in the air, and learning how to correct it. So I guess that's lesson one. Lesson two, we're just gonna give it a little bit more speed because in air, it's a little more intense and it's still gonna be the same thing where you're trying to correct it when you can. So a little bit more speed. So it goes nose up pretty quick. I mean, it's a stunt truck. It's literally engineered to backflip and stuff like that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna let off the throttle a little bit before the lip of the ramp to hopefully stabilize it. So see how it didn't go nose up so much? So if I wanted to practice, which actually this is something I kind of need to work on, I'm gonna let off like now. I didn't even have to touch the throttle. It did nosedive at the end a little too much. So yeah, we're gonna give it a little bit more high speed, sending it off this jump. And there we go. So the reason that I say you literally need to practice doing stuff like this at all different kinds of speed. You know, you can practice it slow and then you're like, all right, I got it down, I'm gonna give it full blast. It's gonna end up bad for you, trust me. So I'll try to demonstrate. So that was perfect, right? Like that was pretty good. I mean, I don't know if perfect is the right word, but nothing went wrong and I landed on all fours. Let's do a quick backflip for you guys. Because that'll be the next lesson, is flips. I mean, that's what you guys came here for, right? Now, I know in RC bashing, unfortunately, there's a lot of ego, which kind of disgusts me. Like, you're playing with toys, just relax, take a back seat. I'm the best basher, I can do everything. That's cool. Like, I don't really care. I'm not good. Like, I think I'm decent. If I had to say, I still have crashes. I still screw things up from time to time. So we'll do a double backflip. So there, that's technically called a fakie. I call it, I knew I couldn't do the backflip, so I saved it. So it was going back pretty far, and I was like, crap, I knew with this truck specifically, other trucks won't do this, they all vary, is that if I smack the brake pretty good, it would come down and settle. A lot of this is a timing thing. See that? Perfect. And again, like, everybody hates on Team Corley, and there's a group of people, you know who you're talking about, and if it's you watching this, I challenge you to change your mind on things. I mean, I got in an argument on my Instagram the other day with this kid that was talking crap about X-Maxes, and I looked at his page, and he was like, I don't know, like 16, 17, 18 or something like that, and he had like two RC cars. So see, I made a mistake there. I stopped talking, and I knew I had to flick the brake at the right time to get back on all wheels. That's something that I will cover in a video later, is like how to save a car, I guess we could call it. I have had the Jambo since like July, I think. I'll look. And the only thing that has broken on it was when I went through the shocks. I was inebriated, trying to say the right word. I was inebriated, and I put the shock nut on the top of the shock shaft the wrong way, so I like really screwed up the threads, so I had to order new shock shafts. What else has gone on with this car? Oh, the tires come unglued quite a bit. I mean, I've literally had to re-glue every tire to like some degree. And the one time that I ran this thing on 6S, like 3 tires came unglued on one backflip, literally just one backflip. So, but speaking of backflips, let's get into it. I'm going to show you guys how to do backflips. So the initial thought with a backflip is to go at the ramp. This is for beginners, by the way. To go at the ramp at a good enough speed that you know you're going to have the hang time, meaning how high the car is off the ground in the air. But right before the ramp, before the lip of the ramp, you're basically going to give it full throttle or almost full throttle to trigger the inertia of the wheels spinning super fast, and it's going to make the truck flip. So after it flips, what do? You can either A, hope that it lands right, or B, you can tap the brake while it's rotating, and you are basically trying to estimate when it's going to stop the flip and then land okay. So I'll try to talk you through it. So medium speed, full throttle. Oh, okay, legit, my finger slipped off the brake. So accidents definitely do happen. All right, let's try that again, where my fingers don't slip off the brake this time. So we're gonna go up to it, medium speed, hit the ramp, pull the trigger. I'm gonna do it like about half. And then I'm gonna tap the brake when I know it's done rotating and can land on all fours. Okay, so right there, I'll slow-mo that. You can literally see where I smacked the brake too early, so I had to correct it by giving it a tap of throttle. That's kind of like an advanced technique right there, so we'll go a little slower to show a more a more beginner-friendly backflip. So you can see what I did. Gave it good throttle, good speed. I squeezed the F out of the trigger, and then I stopped it when I knew it was going to level out and then just hover back to the ground and bounce off. We'll just do a big send. So I don't know how well you guys can hear things, but right at the end, it was nosediving a hair. And what I did was I literally just kind of feathered into the throttle because I knew that was gonna, one, prevent it from going down further, but two, almost level it out a little bit more. This is a really random, weird tip. I got into RC drift like probably a month or two ago. So I got into RC drift probably a month or two ago, and what RC drift has taught me 110% is throttle control. Throttle control is everything. I think as bashers or someone that is wanting to get into bashing, it's literally just gas off, on off, on off, on off, on off, on off. You don't need that. You just need to learn how to feather the throttle when needed. I mean, you could hear the motor making those noises on that jump. That was me just feathering the throttle, you know. So once you break that habit of like on off, like if you're coming up to a ramp and you jump in the air and you start nosediving, if you have that habit of like pinching the throttle and squeezing it, it's gonna go back, it's not gonna land on all fours, it's gonna bounce all over the place, and you're going to break things most likely, and you're not gonna have as much fun. Big send. Just side note, honestly, I love this car. I was a little worried myself about like I was worried about what I heard from Team Corley. You know, I was worried about what the internet was saying. This has been one of my most reliable RC cars, and as you guys can see, I don't really go easy on it, and I enjoy it so much. See, I was talking. I was trying to be like, I can talk and do this. Well, joke's on me. Ah, crap. We just went into LVC. These things are awesome. The electronics are crazy. I'm still just using a 4S battery from Gen's Ace, 6800 mAh. Got a lot of runtime out of this. Now we're going to take out the competition, the Arma Outcast 6S. I am using that on 6S. I tried it on 4S. It needs 6S. All right, guys, we got the Outcast out. So the AVC feature on this, which I actually really like, you know, it helped me out as a beginner a lot. I still like to use it. Even on its lowest setting, I feel like it does something. So why not use a little bit of it? I like to put it to like 25, 33%, my estimation. I do find that it helps for sure. So now a lot of people hate AVC because of, you know, that RC ego that I was talking about, like, I'm the best, I'm the coolest basher ever, blah, blah, I'm playing with toys. Like, dude, chill out. That's all it is. There we go. That was a pretty proper late flip right there, if I do say so myself. Now, comparing the Outcast on 6S to the Corley Jambo on 4S, a bit of a difference, obviously. A lot of extra voltage. A lot of extra voltage from the 6S compared to the 4S, but the electronics are superior in the Jambo. So that's why I really only like to run it on 4S. All right, so back to the lesson. We're just gonna start new too. So jumping any truck, line it up, decent speed. Just let her jump. I gotta say already, like, I'm trying to give it the same amount of throttle that I was giving the Jambo, and it's not going nose up as much. Like, I really don't have to correct it right away. And my, like, you know, anxiety levels, I guess, of like, oh crap, gotta adjust it, are a little lower with this car as of right now. Give it a little more speed. All right, so I let off right there, right before the lip of the ramp. That's why it nosedived. But because I'm going slow, two things about that. It was still pretty easy to adjust. I just flicked the throttle and then it corrected. And then another thing is that when you're learning, this is the most important tip, I think. When you're learning and when you're going slow, if you're learning, you're gonna make mistakes. It's a for sure thing that's gonna happen. If you make a mistake and the truck tumbles and cartwheels and everything, the lower rate of speed you have, this is just basic physics, the lower rate of speed that you're going, the less is going to break. So get the hang of each step. And by each step, I mean like each speed, like 10, 20, 15 miles or 25 miles an hour, etc., etc. I think you guys get the point. Now, yes, I do like the Jambo better. They're both stunt trucks. They're both 6S, 8S stunt trucks, but they both have their own caveats about them, you know? So like you can have two of the same style trucks, like 8S or 6S 8th scale trucks, but they're gonna drive totally differently. This Outcast, by the way, it has limited slip differentials. If you know anything about limited slip differentials, once it senses that the power is bleeding to the path of least resistance, so if I'm turning to the left and the weight is shifting to the right of the truck, the left wheel is gonna get more power bled to it because that's how open differentials work. It bleeds the power to the path of least resistance. That's why with tuning differential fluids, if you go thicker, that is less likely to happen. And when this wheel's spinning and this wheel isn't, even though this wheel has more of the force on it and more of the pressure on it, you're not gonna get as much traction. So with a limited slip differential, it limits the slip to that other wheel and tries to split the power more evenly. Now, a lot of people really don't like the ARRMA limited slip differentials, including me, to be perfectly honest. They're not the most reliable, and they can give you some issues. And when you're having so many issues with an RC car, is it really that fun? You know, like I had an X-Max, I absolutely loved it, you know, like Kevin Talbot, you know, he preaches the X-Max. The X-Max is like the Bible to him, basically. And I see a lot of his points. I've owned an X-Max, so I can say this. That's how that works. There are a lot of good caveats about the X-Max, but they still have their problems. And the reason that I own mainly ARRMA cars now is because they're ridiculously easy to work on. I don't care what brand you have, everything breaks. And when it comes down to it, since you're the one that needs to fix it, would you rather replace the center diff on an X-Max, which has taken me anywhere from 3 hours to 6 hours? I've had to do it 3 times. Or would you rather replace the center diff on a Creighton 6S, any ARRMA 6S car, or any ARRMA 8S car, which is going to take you 30 to 60 minutes. So that's kind of, you know, some people are brand loyal because they let's get a replay of that. That was sick. But a lot of people are brand loyal just because of what they read on the internet, and this is what they could afford, or they, you know, I don't know, whatever. A lot of people are brand loyal for a good reason, you know, I gotta say. Perfectly executed backflip. So let's get into backflip in this thing. Now on 6S, it's pretty easy. It is a stunt truck. So big backflip, you're gonna go in and then squeeze the throttle. That's all I did for that. Now this is a 5,000 milliamp battery, so I know we don't have much time with it. I think I was babbling a lot. If you guys are still with me, I appreciate it. Honestly, I do. Like the video if you can. It helps the algorithm. A little bit of truth about myself. I work in healthcare. I'm an emergency room paramedic technician. I hate my job. People are assholes. I'm just going to say that and not even going to filter it out. And healthcare is just getting a worse place to work in. You're mentally and yes, even sometimes physically abused almost every single day for 12 hours in a row. It sucks. So I make money from Instagram. I have other sources of income that I make money for via social media. But yeah, if you guys can support the channel any way you can, I greatly appreciate it, because I want to get out of healthcare. And I love my job, don't get me wrong, but truth be told, when I say quit my job, I mean I want to cut down to like 1 to 2 days a week. So that was a extreme late flip. So yeah, back into backflips, pretty much the same as the Team Corley. We're gonna come up to the ramp, give it throttle, and then stop it if we need to. So I stopped it a little too early, and the battery unplugged. All right, back to the backflips. Now, where you stand for backflips, I say stand above the ramp, like where you're gonna land. Make sure you're not gonna get hit, obviously, but you're closer to the car, so when it's in the air, you can adjust easier. Like if I was standing where the truck is right now, it's much harder to adjust. So I had to abort mission on that. So just tap the throttle, let it do its thing. Now, I don't know if you guys can see, but when the truck's in air, I have the AVC. I'll turn up a little higher so it does it more. I have the AVC on a little bit, and the wheels, let's try to trigger it. That was the perfect example. I'm so glad I got that. You'll watch what the wheels do. Now, when the front wheels are off the ground, if they're turned one way, because of the inertia, it will turn the truck. So with AVC on, it can literally help the truck kind of straighten itself out in air. And that's what happened on that jump. So yeah, for backflips, it's medium throttle. You get to the lip of the ramp, you squeeze it, you get it to do backflip, and then you tap the brake when you want it to stop, and then you let it land. If you need to adjust by giving it a little bit of throttle or a little bit of brake, you just do as accordingly. Now, if you're a beginner and you really don't want to break anything, which I understand you're not like mechanically savvy with this stuff yet, which if you aren't, by the way, YouTube videos, big tips on there, really good channels for that. Another tip for people that are trying to learn backflips, kind of estimate how much run time, whatever battery you have. Let's say the battery lasts 10 minutes, okay? If you're getting towards minute 8 and 9, I would stop worrying about backflips. I would just enjoy the truck and let it get into LVC. And why is because I have had, and I'm sure so many other people have, let me know in the comments if this has happened to you. So many other people have experienced this too, where the truck, you're trying to adjust, you're trying to make it do a backflip or whatever, and the truck will go into LVC, and basically whatever you're trying to do right here to correct the flip and land the right way, it's not going to happen. And you could be going full speed, 50 miles an hour, the truck could be in the air, and you're gonna nosedive, you're gonna land on the side, something is probably gonna break. We'll try to do a double. Battery came unplugged. So that right there, I needed more speed. So we're gonna do one double backflip, and then we're gonna let her go into LVC, and that'll be the video for the day, guys. I'm gonna get some really good speed, come up, hit this thing, try to give you guys a good double, and then just run into LVC. I knew it wasn't happening. I don't know what's going on. The battery might be a little fatigued, which means it's getting close to LVC. I really shouldn't be doing this right now, but I'm gonna do it for YouTube, so. So I have done doubles with these cars here before. This will be the last try. Bonk. Battery came unplugged. I don't think it's happening. And honestly, beginner tip that I'm demonstrating right now, I'm gonna call it a day. I'm not gonna try any more crazy flips or anything. I am gonna run the battery into LVC. Another beginner tip, when you are done running a car, don't throw the battery right back on the charger. Don't ever do that. The batteries are usually really warm, and that's how you can have things explode. But yeah, guys, that's gonna be the video for the day. If you have any other tips, leave them in the comment section, please. Like, if I did anything wrong, correct me. If you have any other tips of your own for flips, leave them in the comments. People check the comment section all the time, and I'm telling you right now, check the comment section, because there might be other people that leave good tips that'll help you not break things. So yeah, until next time, guys, Midwestern RC out. Like, subscribe, comment, do all the YouTube stuff.